Start streaming over here on the tube, you're more than welcome to come on over here. We're gonna look at the big 3+ transits, and I'm not gonna show you the drawings this evening. I'm just gonna be boom bamming and popping off of the chart. Welcome to the live. In this video, we're gonna be talking about big 3 astrology plus transits, full moon in Taurus. What does this mean for you and you for this climax, this exciting moment? Stay tapped in, buckle up your astrological seatbelts. We're going in. Wow. So, welcome. If you just got here, I hope your day is going well. If you can hear me clearly, comment in the chat. We got an exciting show here tonight. Here for a good time, not for a long time. Just wanted to take an opportunity to share some of the astrological insights that I've noticed with you and your big 3, which is the location of the sun, moon, and your rising sign at the time that you're born. That's what the big 3 actually is. And I wanted to share a perspective. This is what I do. I've been doing this for over 2 decades. I recognize that my purpose is to assist people and help them unravel the intricacies of the astrological chart. If you're into it, you come to the perfect place. Boom, bam, pow. If you're on TikTok, be sure to come on over. We might even pull up some birthdays this evening, possibly. SOS, what's good? Let's go. Let's get it. So as you can see here, I have this astrological chart up here. This astrological chart is a chart of and from a website, or an app rather, called Astro Gold. Not getting paid for this, but by Astro Gold. They're not sponsoring it yet, but in the future, perhaps, possibly. But this is an app. Definitely check it out. Excuse me. Astro Gold. I like it so much because it gives me the ability to easily assess the astrological chart. It allows me to tinker with the minutes, the hours, and the years and the months. So I use this astrological chart, and this is a snapshot of the full moon in New York, New York. And so I also have another chart here that I'm going to be toggling between. This chart here is another website that's refreshing here, which is so beautifully refreshing for us. And it's another way in which to see the full moon time and moment where we are now. So I have a snapshot of the full moon chart. We can reference this chart. I'm going to be referencing this chart with the big 3s. And I'm going to be utilizing and referencing this here as well for the big 3s to kind of see where we are and look at the horary of astrology. Horary, by the way, for those that were wondering, is not horror like Halloween or scary movies. No, no, no. Horary is like hourly, like horoscope is hourly view, and that's what that is there. And we can use this as a benefit and a tool for us in our life. I'm telling you, I've had some years. I didn't mean to breathe so heavy like that. That was so loud. I have some years where I've made some interesting discoveries and connections when it comes to putting the pieces of the chart together. Because look at this thing, right? When you first look at it, it's like, oh, where do I start? We got these lines, we got these symbols, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So I do want to share that, in astrology, it is the big 3, the sun, the moon, and the rising is a great starting place, right? And once you're familiar with your sun, sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, then building upon that with a comprehension of the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 houses, the 10 planets, and what have you, the midheaven, the IC, as you progressively go. And I want you to stay tapped in with the lab coat, because I have some methods, some easy methods to be able to digest that are digestible, and I think you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna love it. I know that you are. So thank you for joining. Let's get into this thing and analyze this astrological chart. Like I said, this is the transit chart, and I found a way to utilize this website, astro.com, and put the chart of the moment, so it's going to refresh for us, which is something that I think is going to be excellent in being able to see how this chart moves, you know, and how we go from Cancer to Leo, and I'm not sure if we're going to go to Virgo. It depends on how the live goes, you know what I mean? Boom, bam, and popping. If you're over here on the talk, you're more than welcome to come over here to YouTube. We're having a great time. You're going to love it. There's music and everything. Is the music too loud in the chat over here for you, YouTube? Let me just make sure it's not too loud, because I don't want to. Hey, it's Jules from TikTok. Jules, what's good? Pardon the delay. Let's get it. Simply Sugar, I see you. Taurus Sun, great for you with the full moon in Taurus. Great for you with a Virgo rising. We're going to get to that uno momento here. And I want to do something else too. For those who might want me to select your birthday, I wanted to do something a little special and do some birthdays for those who want to be put on the list. You don't have to, these are readings from my heart, from the full moon in Taurus, brought to you by the full moon in Taurus from the lab coat. However, you're not going to put your birth information here. You're going to put your birth information, you're going to send it to me on Instagram. And so I'm going to put my Instagram in the chat. The letter T, lab coat 7 is my Instagram name. Send me a message, and if you're not following me, that's fine. Send me a message anyway. I want to get a better handle on, you know, this list here. The scrolling back, not so rhythmic. You know, I'm a man who enjoys rhythmic cycles. Go figure. Particularly the moon, mostly, and the rest of the planets, definitely. And that's what we're gonna do here. Boom, bam, pow. Thank you for the double taps. Thank you for the shares. Share it with a friend. Tell them to come through if they're into astrology. And let's get it going. If you sent me a message on Instagram, all you gotta do is let me know in the comments. We'll check it, and then we'll get it going. TikTok, I'm getting ready to end this live. Come on over to the tubular. I'm gonna focus on this thing here. We got a little more elbow room over here. We're having fun. We're boom, bamming, and popping. Plus, I need this device here to pull up your birth charts from Instagram for those who are interested in me having a look-see at your chart. Who is next? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You sent the message? SOS, you ready to get into it right away, aren't you? Let's get it. YouTube? Yes, YouTube. YouTube. Labcoat Astrologer is the name you know, the name you trust. Ba-da-bop. Bop-bop. I sent you, no far you sent to. Let's go. TikTok, I appreciate you so much. I will be back, always doing live astrology. Boom, bam, blippity, blip, 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 blip. Thank you so much. That's done. Let's get on over here to the Grammy. And the reason why I'm using the Grammy is because of a little bit more order and structure here. Thank you for your patience. Those who are patient, I want to let you know the best things come to those who whiz-ate and are patient with me. It looks like no far is the white. Hang on, we got request here. Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. Jules, I see you. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Body up. Body up. Ba-da-ba-ba. Body up. Ba-ba-da. Full moon in Taurus. Let's go. Let's go. All right, it looks like, and when you send me the message on Instagram, let me know that you're from, like, the tube, you know what I mean? Let me know you're from the tube so that I can identify you. No far, it looks like you're up. Thank you so much for your patience. Let's do a couple of these. Let's do a couple of these. Let's do a couple of these. Full moon in Taurus. 12. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, let's get it. I found it. We've got the calculations here as a check. Interesting. I wonder, Nofar, if looking at your chart, per this technique method that I have been using and tinkering around with, I've noticed that not only the sun, moon, and rising, but it's also other planets that are strategically placed, or they're exalted, or they're making a lot of aspects, or the element is a reoccurring theme, right? So looking at your chart, well, it looks like there's a tie actually between two planetary placements in your chart. One of them is Mercury, and we currently have Mercury in Scorpio. So right off the bat, with Mercury and Pluto, two dominant placements of the chart, we can look at Mercury here in the transiting skies in Scorpio to say that that has a significance to it. And if we were to incorporate it into your chart, and you gotta get your rising here, bear with me. I'm multitasking here. This is so much easier though, instead of scrolling back though. Thank you for your patience. It does take a little bit more time because I'm looking at the birthday, the time of birth, and the city and state, because those are the three pieces of information that you need in order to arrive at a sun, moon, rising, and to see where the planets are by degree. Got it. Okay, that's Pisces rising, right? So as a Pisces rising, for you, right, your big three, let me get this here, bear with me. We gotta pull it up quickly here. All right, perfect. And I thought I could be a soldier without my glasses, but it looks like we're gonna need them, and we don't have them. Awesome. Thank goodness for the thing. So let's get right into it. So Mercury and Pluto, I want you to keep this in your frontal cortex when it comes to your astrological chart here. Now I'm not pulling up your astrological chart on here. I'm going to keep this transit chart up because it's going to be too much to toggle back and forth, and I want people to be able to see this, and I'm going to be toggling back and forth to this here. This is the full moon chart. So didn't even realize that Pisces was rising. Wow, interesting. So maybe not in Brazil where you're located, Pisces wasn't rising at the time of the full moon. But this snapshot here does point to some Piscean energy. Honestly, really, to tell you the truth, we can't use this chart for Brazil for you. So pardon me for that. This is more for those who are on the East Coast of the United States. But this chart does serve a purpose, and we can still see that Mercury is in Scorpio up here with the full moon. So let's just go over here to this chart. Should I put Brazil in there? I should put Brazil in there. Great Scott. It's going to be too much. We're not going to be able to put Brazil in there. Pardon me. But I want to get to this Mercury and Scorpio here. So you're a Pisces rising. We can still plug in this planetary station of Mercury for you in your chart, which is Pisces 9th house, right? So this has a lot to do with your education, your higher learning, and perhaps some writing. It has a great deal to do with your connection to religious ideas, your connection to God, your philosophy, your journey, and really digging into that thing like pretty deeply, because Mercury is in Scorpio. Mercury in Scorpio is pretty deep, and not for nothing, Mercury is a planet that kind of takes the shape of its environment, has a neutral energy. So because it's in between Mars and the Sun, it has a lot to do with your thought and your learning and your growth and your understanding. There's like an insight that you receive. Correct me if I'm wrong. With this full moon in Taurus, as well as for a good portion of this month, right? And it's something that touches you at a deeper most level, because Mercury in Scorpio has depth to the thought and the mind. So it's like a wow, like a it's a little shocking. Now, another planet here that's pretty significant for you and kind of sets the stage is Pluto. So Mercury in Scorpio is significant per your personalized astrological chart, and Pluto in Capricorn here is also pretty significant, because these are two planets that are highlights in your chart. So Capricorn and Taurus they work together. There's a working and a pairing. This Capricorn's an earth sign, Taurus is an earth sign. So it has to do with materials. It has to do with your status, your structure, and how to structure and to, putting things in perspective and taking shape and utilizing resources greatly. There's a deep connection between your education, your higher learning, as well as community as well. And it's pretty deep, it's pretty intense per this full moon in regards to your thought patterns and who you communicate with and the people that you're around and the insights that you receive. We got to be mindful that this full moon here was in Taurus, and we also have Jupiter and Uranus here. So Jupiter and Uranus, or some people say Uranus or Uranus, but it's pretty significant for enlightenment and enlightening the mentality and the mind for Pisces risings. You've been writing a lot lately. That's good. Those are some deep writing, some intense, to the core, if you will. It has you even going back into religion a little bit. Not saying that you're a religious person, but like philosophy and your approach and thought about life, like the whole process of life as well as death, because Scorpio is death, right? It doesn't have to be a physical one. It could also be a psychological one in a transition of, mind, body, and soul. But it's felt at a deeper level with Mercury in Scorpio and it being a personal planet for you, and Pluto being in Capricorn as another significant planet for you. Does that resonate with you? Yes, I have been studying for 8 years, education for children with special needs. Interesting. Interesting. So then this full moon, right, would point to you kind of getting the hang of it. Like the full moon in Taurus is a manifesting moon where things manifest and take shape and take form. So it's like a thought process or your mentality, you know, it starts to click, it starts to make sense if you've been incorporating discipline and in your schooling and whatnot. My country is at war. So the situation here is very scary. Yeah. Wow. Nofar, I appreciate you for sharing, and definitely keep your head up. I think your writings, low key, middle key, and high key, I think some of the things that you write could be used to take shape in the community there where you're at with that war. Perhaps when things settle down, to be able to help with the process of picking up the pieces, if that makes sense to you. You know, it's almost like you have a certain calling, or you feel called to help in some way with community and, you know, sharing what it is that you know, your wisdom even. That's pretty interesting. All right, appreciate you, Nofar. Appreciate you, thank you. I also do private readings, as some of you already may know, may not know. This is what I do. I have my Instagram in the description of this video if you'd like me to look up your astrological chart. I'm gonna be here for a little while. It looks like we got Delilah. Is Delilah still here? Is Delilah? Hey there, Delilah. Thank you, each and every one of you, for your patience. The letter T, lab coat 7, it's in the comments. I'm gonna put it back in here. T, lab coat 7. Excuse me, if you'd like me to look at your astrological chart, I would love to take a glance at it, incorporating this full moon that just occurred. This is a transiting chart for New York, New York. So if you're in a different part of the world, you would have to change the location. But for the most part, the planetary stations are pretty close all over the world in a tropical sense. The only thing that would be different would be the ascendant sign here. However, we're boom, bamming, and popping. Delilah, appreciate you. Thank you for responding so swiftly. April 30th, Taurus in the house. Let's go. Let's go. You know, I'm excited for Tauruses because of the fact that the moon does so well in Taurus, and it's a full moon in Taurus. I think that is dynamic for Tauruses, and manifesting, and the ability to manifest things. And when I say manifest, I mean like materialize according to the location of where Taurus sits in your astrological chart. All right, let me pull this up here. 19. I got it. Putting the birth information in here. Let's see what powerful planets you have. And I'm using a technique here tonight. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. If the music is too loud, be sure to let me know, or if it's perfect. Wow, this is another chart where you also have 2 planets in your chart other than the sun, moon, and rising that are significant in your astrological chart. It looks like, for you, it looks like there's a tie between the moon and Mars. Let's dig into that thing a little bit here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Thank you for double tapping the screen. I appreciate you and your patience. This is a mellow full moon. Mellow. I think it's more mellow for me because I just ate. I kind of did the Taurus thing and tapped into the foodie aspect of it. Into the foodie aspect and ate a little bit too much of the bread, but that's neither here nor there. We're still boom bamming and popping. So the moon and Mars, and if we incorporate, Delilah, your moon and Mars in your astrological chart, right? You got the moon in Capricorn and you got Mars in Pisces, right? So those two features, it's your emotions, your comfortability, how comfortable you are, and it also has to do with your enthusiasm and your drive and you know, action in relationships. Like fairness in relationships is huge for you, and for most people that's huge, right? A lot of us, but for you it's pretty particular per your astrological chart. So if we look at Mars, being that the moon and Mars are significant in your chart, the moon, the full moon in Taurus is a feature, and Mars in Scorpio is a feature. So the moon and Mars are kind of like in this relationship. So it's kind of like working with the partner and dealing with the partner, and maybe frustrations, or the partner expressing their frustration, or your drive to be inspired through and by the partner. There's a little bit of high energy there in your relationships per this full moon. And as a Virgo rising, it seems like there's maybe a little bit of a communication barrier per this full moon. That's what it looks like to me in regards to maybe some of the wants and some of the changes that you're wanting to make in comparison, and working on balancing that with your partner even. Fairness is extremely important, and what I think that it is, to be honest with you, when I look at your chart as a Virgo rising, it is the axis of the third house and the ninth house. And so in astrology, the third house is the house of communication, our speech, our talk. And the ninth house has to do with higher education and the way our partner speaks and talks. So it's like your thinking and their thinking, and trying to find a balance between what it is that you expect, your expectations, and their expectations. And you get kind of a little bit excited. You get a little bit, maybe a little bit defensive, maybe direct is a better word. And you're ready for some action on behalf of the partner, and like finding that balance. It doesn't also involve, you know, in the communication and the balance between you and the partner, there's some money involved and there's some time issues, you know. So this full moon actually brings a manifestation for you to express your philosophy to the partner, and how it may have shifted, if you will. You call it spicy? Spicy's a good word per Mars. Mars does have a little bit of spice, like that chef that does the salt like this. I don't know what his name is, but we got the little, you know, it's little spices that, you know, roll down the arm, like all the way, jump, bunny hop off the elbow. You know? But yeah. That's what I have for you. I want to say to you, you know, maybe watch your temper a little bit there into this, in this Scorpio season. And I say that because of Mars, because Mars is a significant planet in your astrological chart, in tandem with the sun in Taurus, with the moon in Capricorn, and the Virgo rising, which creates this grand trine in your chart of the earth signs, right? Which involves this moon as well. So it's like you want to be secured, comforted through and by the partner. Tell them, let's go. We're going out. Let's do something. Let's get it. But seriously, out of all of it, looking at it in a nutshell, it does have a lot to do with you and your partner's communication aspect. you know, at a more deeper level, and being able to share with your partner and them share with you and have a one standing there. Are you with me? Too late? The anger got me already. Well, I'm not gonna, I appreciate you saying too late. I see what you're saying with that, but I would like to add in that this Mars in Scorpio is gonna be here for a little bit. Let me give you a little perspective here because I think that this is important. And when you get a reading with me, we're gonna look at this a little bit more in depth, be able to show you your astrological chart. But let's look at how many days Mars is gonna be, because this is part of the full moon in Taurus leading up to the new moon in Scorpio. So now the full moon occurred, so now it's the momentum leading to up to the full moon, or the new moon rather, excuse me, in Scorpio. And Mars is gonna be there at the new moon, which is like, what is it, November 14th? Let's check this out. It's November 12th or 13th. So from now up to like November, the middle of November, like the spiciness is still gonna be there. So it's important for you to be direct in your, let me see this here, in your communications with your partner. You gotta let them know, yo, hey, come on over, you're gonna have a blast. We're having a party over here, let's get it. All right, Simply Sugar. Thank you so much, I appreciate you. Be sure, everyone who's here, if you're enjoying the live, be sure to smash the subscription button ever so gently. Appreciate you. All right, who is next? Who is next? Full moon in Taurus, what does this mean for you? Let's look on Instagram and see. What we're doing here is I'm doing readings, I'm actually pulling up charts and I'm sharing. Julie, are you still here? Just checking. Julie, are you still here? Boom. Gerald, I see you. What's going on with you? Welcome in. Hope your evening is going well. Sagittarius, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Capricorn, Rising. Let's look at this here. Leo is currently rising right now, but Capricorn is here. And the full moon looks like it points to children for you, right? Even if you don't have any children, another characteristic and archetype from the 5th house is what it is that you hold most close to your heart. You know what I mean? Peach is up. You know, it also points to your love too, Gerald. Shanitra, welcome in. How are you? I'm here. Is that you? Are you, your name? Goodness, I don't want to even say your name. I don't know how to say that. Peach? Peach, you're Julie Morgan? Help me out here. You said Peach is up? Okay, Peach, I see. Peach. Peach, I'm trying to figure out what's your name on Instagram because it's not Peach. Help me out here. Let's get this. Full moon in Taurus, what does this mean for you? I'm doing astrological readings in here. Here for a good time, not a long time. Always doing live astrology. If you're into astrology, you come to the perfect place. I'm looking at individual charts. If you want me to pull up your chart, send me your birth information on Instagram. The Instagram name is TLabCoat7. And one of the reasons, I just put it in the chat, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because it allows me to have a better order where I don't have to scroll back. It's a little more convenient until we get like hundreds of people in the live at a time. And so this is what we're doing here. I'm Julie. Julie, thank you so much for rhythmically commenting. I appreciate you. You put the information in perfectly. Thank you so much. Let's see what your power placements are. Let's get it. I actually think I should do We're gonna get better each life. Peach, I see you. Thank you so much for letting me know. I see you now. You're up. All right, let's get this thing here. Happy birthday, Peach. My goodness, you, speaking of tempers and spiciness and assertiveness, it seems like you're one of the ones as a Scorpio, right? Let's put this information in here first before I get to talking, or as I'm talking here. Let's see here. Okay, got you. Thank you for putting all the information there. It looks accurate here. Let's get this going. Okay, looks like we've got it here. We're in here like swimwear. And you have, it looks like Pluto is a powerful planet for you in addition to your sun, moon, and rising. Let's get a closer glance at this thing. Let's have a gander at this thing. Let's see. If you're just getting in here and you're into astrology, this is what we're doing. We're having a little powwow, a little full moon energy powwow. Looking at some astrological charts here. Okay, got it. Scorpio, Leo, Scorpio. Wow. Right at the end. You know one thing about you, this is pretty interesting. So, so Pluto is a main feature in your astrological chart. So right off the bat, this Pluto in Scorpio for quite some time. Is that your entire life? No, it's not. It's not. But wait a minute, bear with me here. The past like 20 years, right, of your life, Pluto has had an extremely important role in your life, especially in regards to your thinking, right? And how you express yourself. It also touches upon some changes when it comes to brothers, sister, cousins, close relatives, neighbors, and the such, and kind of figuring out your childhood and your relationships with your brethren, sister, and cousins, and whatnot, what have you. Now, being that Pluto is a feature and a highlight in your chart, Pluto in Capricorn, relation with Taurus, where the full moon was, is a first house, fifth house, which has vapors of love and love life and communication within your love life and in your relationships and the people who you hold most dear. This full moon actually has pointed to highlight your relationship and some of the benefits within your relationship. However, I'm looking at this opposition to the full moon in Scorpio and tying in this Capricorn. It makes you pretty driven right now, especially to engage and create contracts and share your perspective and be a whole lot more direct with Mars. You're gonna feel it here as let me see. Wait a minute. Okay, it's not there all the way, but it's close. You know, we're approaching your birthday, but you're at a phase like right around this time of year. Every time of year, you go through like this metamorphosis and this need to be revived, if you will. You know, it points to self-improvement, especially a great deal. And it looks like with the full moon, I think that the full moon has its benefits and highlights with Jupiter in the 7th house. So maybe it's the partner assists you in some way or helps you with your anger or satisfy some of your urges even. Yes, I'm working and in school. Well, that's good that you're working and you're double humping there. You're working pretty hard. You're working pretty hard there. Well, I want to tell you that with all your hard work and your drive and your enthusiasm and your ambition, because Mars is in Scorpio and it's so close to your sun, I think, like, let me see what this date is here. Hang on a second. If we get a closer look here, oh yeah. So you need to have breaks, Peach. And I know that seems, easier said than done, but the incorporation of breaks, because the sun is currently at your Pluto degree. I left that, but I have a new little friend. Yeah, just don't rush things too much there. There could be a whole bunch of benefits and opportunities with this full moon in relationships, but you have to be mindful of this Mars here and your desires and even lust a little bit. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I'm going to be real here, honest with you. Because the sun is at a craving place for you, like the crave burns deeply, Scorpio has depth to it and the intensity and the urge and the crave. So it's like you're being tested a little bit here, honestly. You're being tested here, with the presentation of the rewards and the gifts and the opportunities and from the partner, but you just don't want to move too quick. You see this red line in the middle of this chart here. It's at the same time that this full moon is beneficial for relationships, we still got some tension here, and there's a need to find this balance, because let's say we dive in, your little friend there, you just dive in, splash, maybe not much of a splash, it was a good dive, but perhaps, without communication or proper communication in that thing there, which is the axis for you, which this full moon in your sun sign takes place, you could bump your head. They say if you move too fast, you bump your head, up. And that's what I would like to share with you, honestly. So, tame that little, what do I want to call it? That crave is what, right? So we got this crave, this desire, like, it reminds me of, of being thirsty after a race. You got to have the water. I need something to drink. Hang on a second. You got to find other ways to quench your thirst unless you've had those deep conversations, so you don't jump into something within the relationship and have these rose-colored glasses on, if you hear me. Big chat, big bells in the chat if you hear me. There, Peach. OMG, so true. The crave is so. It is. You have to find a way to dig deep, Peach. Like a. Wait a minute, you're making me cough. Well, you're not making me cough. I'm making myself cough. Okay, I'm back. I see what you're saying. What do I want to share with you? I know you're not going to like to hear this, maybe, and maybe that's not what brings the coolness to the heat. But, we have to burn this energy somehow, like exercise, walks, and sweating. And through holding it at this time, like, and pouring it into yourself, like, you gain like this inner strength, not for nothing, and for something, for the record. But you're doing good. I would even say channel that energy into something that, maybe a project that you're working on that you'd like to achieve. You can stay up a lot longer. You can really work with that energy to achieve some goals, if you will. Lab, Tiffany, how are you? What's good? Good to see you. Welcome. Let's see here. We got 3 likes. Interesting. Be sure to like the live if you're liking it. Let's see who's next. Okay, looks like Zaza is up. Is Zaza still here? From H-Town? I wonder what the sound sounds like. Let's check this out. Ouch, excuse me. Yeah, I know. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome, Peach. Be sure to smash the subscription button ever so gently. Appreciate each and every one of you for your patience. We're looking at your big 3 plus astrology, but I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going in a little bit deeper here with this full moon and pulling up charts. If you'd like me to look at your astrological chart, I'm going to do a couple more. For those who have been waiting patiently, if you send me your birth information on Instagram, and the reason why I'm doing this is because it's a little more easier for me in regards to the list. It's manageable. I don't have to scroll back. So appreciate you. H-Town, hold it down. Flyest chick, let's get it. You're up. Thank you for your patience. Pulling up your birth information and now. Be sure to smash the like button ever so gently. Let's get this here. Julio. All right, perfect. Wow, y'all started being young in here. Goodness gracious. It's all good. I appreciate the youth. Let's get it. H-Town. Putting your birth. Let's see what your dominance, your main planetary stations other than your sun, moon, and your rising. It looks like, whoa, it looks like Jupiter for you, H-Town. Interesting. Question. With my moon in Taurus, how does that affect Venus in Scorpio? There's an effect there, Gerald. If you'd like me to look at your astrological chart, I encourage you to send your birth information to me on Instagram. My Instagram, I'll put it in the comments again. TLabCoat7. Did it go through there? No, it didn't. Excuse me. TLabCoat7. There it is. So we'll get it going like that. All right, Flyest chick, give me a confirmation that you are July 17th. Is that you, H-Town? I just want to be sure. I just want to be sure. I just want to be shizzer. Perfect. Thank you so much for your rhythmic response. That's awesome. So you, my friend, are quite the lucky one. And I say you're quite the lucky one because not only is it your sun, moon, and your rising sign that stands out to me, but it's also the planet Jupiter. It's also the planet Jupiter. And I'm gonna unravel, we're gonna unravel the intricacies of that in a moment here. Let's get this here. Let's get this in here like this. Okay, boop. Got it. Gemini rising, huh? Excuse me. Excuse me. So you're a Gemini rising and Jupiter seems to be significant. You're quite the lucky individual, it looks like here. And so When we look at Jupiter in the chart, which is a significant feature, and when you get a reading with me, we'll go over this a little bit more. But when I look at your astrological chart, Jupiter is quite uplifted in Pisces. So Pisces is a significant feature for you, and it's another archetype and characteristic that describes you a great deal about you in regards to your the places of business where you work, and the ease and the flow of you getting jobs and getting opportunities through your jobs. And you know, this is you get pretty lucky in the area of your work, and I think you might have seen that. So I'm incorporating that into this full moon and to the location of Jupiter currently right now, because Jupiter is in Taurus. Okay, and so when we look at your astrological chart, it looks like, interesting, that's pretty interesting. It looks like something with your mom, or the connection with family, or maybe some secrets that were revealed, or something was revealed to you in solitude or through your devotion even. You know, through, if not devotion, like not going to church devotion, but like you're pondering and you're sitting with yourself. This full moon, your moon was in Taurus, right? As you may or may not know, you have the Cancer Sun, Taurus Moon, and Gemini Rising. So Taurus is your 12th house. And so with the full moon happening in your 12th house, right where your moon is, it's significant for your relations with your mom, or the mother figure, or the grandmother, and or your mothering, and a reflecting on either responsibilities or respect issues and boundaries, interestingly enough. And because Jupiter is there, it makes me feel like there's some insight and there's some growth through self-improvement, or ways in which to improve yourself to be able to express yourself a little bit more effectively. Does that resonate with you? It greatly points to your sleep too. Interesting. That is pretty interesting there. Some of those energies shifted. Well, what it's like, it's honestly, it's like a revisiting of the past. But I think that it's problems or issues that you might have had with the mother or the mother figure, and something that was buried and that you were struggling with dealing with. But this full moon brings a light to those things, and because Jupiter's there, it's kind of like through your soul searching, or through your pondering or reflecting upon it, like there's a realization and a way in which to move forward and have some progress with it, honestly. Which essentially points to not only your sleep and self-improvement, and your solitude comes to a highlight with the realizations, but it also has direct correlation and connection to your health. You know, not necessarily physical health, like you need to lose weight or gain weight, but more so the psychological aspects, you know, mental well-being, if that makes sense. And I say that because the sun is currently in the 6th house for you, right? And the 6th house has to do with our health, both physical as well as mental well-being. And so you might recognize this drive at the workplace, or the want to incorporate some type of exercise for yourself that adds into something that you connect to to remind you of your healing journey, if that makes sense to you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I really like this chart resetting like the way it's doing. It's pretty awesome. I really enjoy this website. For those that were wondering, this website is called astro.com. I've been using this website for over 2 decades, and it's dynamic. All right, thank you for your patience. I don't know if there's some kind of a delay, possibly. Gerald, did you send, I'm looking for your birth information. I don't know if you're still here, but we're looking for your birth information. I see it now, perfect. Yes, it does. I struggle with routines. I think that somehow you got some insight from this full moon, or like this full moon tonight and into tomorrow. Like a great deal of tomorrow has a lot to do with finding a little bit more ease and making some headway and progress. Celebrate the little wins for yourself, flyest chick. I mean, with a name like that, you gotta be the flyest, and if you're the flyest, you should be able to fly in and be able to attach to a routine that works smooth and rhythmic for you. That refresh is a cool feature, isn't it? And I get this feature, this chart, to refresh like this by clicking the 3 symbols, the sun, the moon, and Mercury, in the top corner on this website, astro.com. All right, thank you for your patience. Flyest chick, I appreciate you. Gerald, you're up. Gerald, you're up. Let's get you in here. Let's see what your dominant planet is. And let's see how this full moon and your big 3 tie into this lunar eclipse and some of these transits. It's really beautiful outside. If you were to go outside, you'd be able to see it. If you're in the east coast of the United States, you'd be able to see a beautiful spectacle with Jupiter and the moon. Flyest chick, you're welcome. Be sure to smash the subscription button ever so gently. Thank you so much. November. Okay, Gerald, you didn't put the city and state, so I don't know. We'll just put you in New York. Because there's 3 pieces of information, believe it or not, when it comes to being as precise as possible, even though these are general readings, right? Like the location and where you reside, you know, or where you're, you know, born, you know, it has a difference. We can have 17 different people, right? And they were all born on the same day, the same year, at the same time, but at different locations. The rising sign would still be different because of the time differential. You know what I mean? So if we don't have the city and state, if we have the time, it'll be somewhat accurate. But if you're not in New York, it may be a little bit off in regards to the rising sign. So if you can share the city and state, I can proceed. started labeling everything in my house. If that works for you, Flyest chick, if that works for you. All right, thank you, Gerald. I appreciate you for putting that in there swiftly and rhythmically. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see what kind of power planets you have. Another one with Pluto. Another one with Pluto. So, Pluto is a pretty powerful force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? You're a Sagittarius. So this month kind of points to your sleep and your rest and rejuvenation. This full moon points to your health too, like healthy eating and maybe starting to incorporate a healthier way of eating and some exercise, or at least some movement and some stretching, you know, at the least. Let's see this here. Let's get your big three. Let's get your big three in here. We're gonna get it here. Pluto, man, Pluto also deals with, throughout your life, you've dealt with some significant coercion too, with people trying to take advantage. Interesting. And so with Pluto and Capricorn becomes to be a significant feature. Pluto and Capricorn seems to be a significant feature. So it has 11 a.m. on the dot. See, your time of birth that you shared with me, I kind of raise a question in my mind when I see people having whole numbers, because when it comes to the charting, but that's fine, we'll do 11 a.m., but it does get pretty specific. But you have Capricorn on the ascendant, so over the course of the past 5 years, a good 5 years, 5, 6 years, 10 years, you've changed your personality and your style and your approach in many different ways, you know. Even though you're a Sagittarius sun with a Taurus moon and a Capricorn rising, because Pluto is a significant feature in your chart, we can look at Pluto and Capricorn and say that has a pretty significant effect in regards to your psychological aspects, how you view things. You started being a lot more of a researcher and a little more probing, and you know, it's pretty real. It has a lot of Scorpio vibes to it, even though you're a Sagittarius, right? And so in your astrological chart, this full moon actually points to a lot of healing for you, especially in connection to your love life and relations with children, whether they're yours or not. And it brings a highlight to the emotions and the security and the comforts through and by loved ones and those that you love. It also points to recreation, entertainment, and enjoyment to a certain degree, definitely. And in addition to that, excuse me, it is the long-term goals and it is the friends that the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Taurus kind of highlights, this access of loyalty and friendships and being loyal to your goals and your expectations and your wishes and like that whole thing. You can kind of feel something brewing there for you in regards to, what is that? It's engagements with friends. That's like a collaboration with friends, and networking is what that is, Gerald, that this full moon looks like it brings. It has a lot to do with your career, with friends and career and opportunities with friends and collaborations and technology. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bashir Brown, welcome. How are you? I see your birth information. We'll do yours. We'll do one more after Gerald. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, there, Gerald, with that. Looks like there's a highlight with friends. And there's an opportunity for you to possibly even make some money through and by collaborations with friends if you haven't been already. You had a big shift. I wonder if that big shift is in the area of your goals and the setting of goals and obtaining and reaching some of the long-term goals. I wonder if that has something to do with that. Let me know. Let me know. That's pretty powerful. So I've been using this this technique here for these big threes, not only the sun, moon, and the rising sign, but you said family. Interesting. The love that you have for family and how much love is there. And yeah, I can see that. You know, that has a lot to do with your moon being in Taurus. You know, this full moon really touched your heart in that regard. And it brought some realizations. It brought some realizations in regards to your heart and how you set your heart and how you share your things with other people in the family. Right? Looks like some friend, though. You say family, but I think there's also some friend that you have that is has assisted you in regards to opening up your eyes and perspective and realization of the family or family members. And what I mean by that, excuse me, is what is that? Yeah, it's a big shift in family, but I think that there's friends. There's some type of friend who plays a significant role in helping you with opening up your eyes to some things in connection to your family. It has a lot to do with friends and associates, it looks like. Cancer and Jupiter hurts you? I don't think that hurts you. Astrologically speaking, Jupiter does the best in Cancer. It's exalted. Perhaps what it is that you're saying that hurts you is your sensitivity in certain areas and how you care for family and how you give. And perhaps it is that some of the family members don't appreciate it and maybe take it for granted, and maybe there's a want to shift a little bit with the way that you set your goals and how you do from your heart when it comes to family. All right, thank you so much, Gerald. I appreciate you. Thank you for tapping in. Definitely, you're more than welcome to come through and always check. I'm always doing live astrology. All right, we're gonna do one more here. Bashir, if you're in here, let me see. I got you. Perfect. Thank you for all you do. Okay, you didn't put your birth information in there. You didn't put your birth information in there. Oh, you put it in the chat. I see you. Well, so what we're doing, for those who are here and you're gonna come back because you've enjoyed yourself, I'm gonna start using Instagram because that's the best way for me to be able to keep track of the order instead of scrolling back on YouTube. It's a little bit of a challenge, and I think I can get to a lot more people this way. I think, Ganja Queen, was this a little bit rhythmic? Was this rhythmic in regards to the flow? It might have taken a little bit of time, and I am going a little bit in depth, but long story short, that's what I'm going to be doing here. It seems to be working for me. And I like it. All right, so Bashir, let's get you in here. Happy birthday. 10-10. Los Angeles. What time is that? Okay, you didn't put a time of birth there, that's fine. That's fine, we can still work with this unless you know the time. Okay, perfect. Thank you for rhythmically typing that in there. Ever so swiftly. And we're gonna look at what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the big 3+ transits with the full moon in Taurus, but I'm also looking at a power planet. And it looks like in your astrological chart that Mars is a significant feature. And so Mars in Scorpio kind of also builds and increases the drive and the desire and the craving and the enthusiasm and the energetic, right, of Mars in Scorpio with intensity of emotions. Even though you're not a Scorpio, and I'm going to get to that in a moment here. Watch this. We're going to get to that in a moment right here. Watch this. Oh, you said 9:40. Excuse me. Okay, did you put a city and state in there? No, you didn't. That's fine. Oh, no, you did. It's Los Angeles, excuse me. You did share that with me. Okay, all right, we got you there. Boom. Okay, so Gemini rising. Excuse me. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. So you got Mars. Bashir. Wow. It looks like this full moon points to your sleep, but we have a similar, we read a couple of charts like this. There was another Gemini rising in here. So there's kind of this axis of the 6th house and the 12th house. So with the sun in Scorpio, you know, we have the sun, we have Mars, we have Mercury in Scorpio. It increases the intensity of the emotions in connection to your diet as well as exercise. And for you too, it touches upon the deeper aspects of you in regards to one moment. Some of the deeper aspects in regards to your emotions and feelings and family members as well. And I say that because you have the moon in Scorpio, right? You have the moon in Scorpio, and it looks like there's some emotions that are resurfacing, I would say, right around this time. And the full moon kind of highlights your solitude and your reflection on self. But you're getting ready to have a Mars return, so I don't know if you're doing too much work or something like that, but what is that? The full moon is in your 12th house. But it's your living conditions. The full moon is your 12th house, some improvements in your living conditions. So there's a craving, there's a crave, maybe not so much diet, but maybe more so for improvements to your living quarters and investing back into your house and property. There are lots of Scorpio placements, so it looks like it's a combination of Scorpio, Taurus, and Virgo that are features for you. But I think that you have a certain energetic of moving a little bit too quickly sometimes. Something with your work and connected to your health, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is, but I do know that it does point to health and rest. And if we look at how this full moon is a positive full moon because the moon does well there, then it could point to some healing, some significant healing for you. You know, and this stems for over a course of the past year and a half, because with all those Scorpio placements, over the past year and a half, there's a lot of changes to your health. Did you lose a whole bunch of weight or something like that? Or did you start hitting the gym real hard over the past year and a half and you're working on getting back into that flow? I'm curious here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did get sick and lost weight while working. I gained it back since. Yeah, wow. Interesting. Well, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Just like with anything, right? You know, you just got to get back on the track. That's all that is. It's a matter of getting back on the track for yourself, you know, and working with moderation. But I'll tell you what though, honestly, to tell you the truth, over the course of this next 30 days, you can get a nice little routine for yourself and adjust start, you know, setting the stage to churn towards, because you're getting ready to have a Mars return in your astrological chart, which means that your energy, your drive, your enthusiasm, you just have to do a little bit of cold turkey with some of these areas and some of the habits that you have, honestly. You're working less right now, so you got to incorporate more walks and going to sleep at a required time. You notice how when you wake up and you just have that dull moments, you know what I mean? You have a tendency to eat more because, you know, well, I guess I'll just, you know. And so it's the nighttime and leaving at and eating at late night hours is what it is. We got to curb that. If you decide, if that's what you're working on, it's up to you. But I think it's something that would benefit you, you know, in regards to your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. I would say you should reach out to me because I have something for you for people who are working with their diet. I'm not a trainer, but I do have some ideas for you in working with your astrological chart of some times of the day that you can work with and start looking at, you know, what your day, what your week looks like, so it can be a soft transition into getting back to where you want to be, for real. Because you have some momentum leading up to this new moon in Scorpio, right? Especially with this Mars return, you can build up some significant momentum, honestly. I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with me. I'm always live doing live astrology. You're more than welcome to smash the subscription button. I encourage it if you're into astrology and learning how to unravel some of the intricacies to the chart. Stay tapped in. I'll see you in the next video.